As a veteran, small business owner, what can we do for you?
What we can all do for all veteran business owners is promote each other.
My main mission was to look at tools and technology to leverage small business and give them more of a competitive advantage.
My mission for Veteran Bargains is very simple: to help vets.
That story in itself, to run for Vista City Council, is a journey.
I think this is an opportunity to really collaborate with those gone before us.
It's really kind of a labor of love.
And now your host.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Thank you for coming and welcome once again to our Veterans Radio Show on this episode 8. On the back, I want to say hello to Michael Wood, our producer, and monitoring our comments is our Chamber CEO and founder, Joseph Molina. And on this episode, I'm so excited and so delighted to bring you just a phenomenal strategic partner to the Veteran Chamber of Commerce, Kelly Bagla, who is a multi-degree lawyer. Kelly began her career with one of the largest international law firms in the world, and now she is our San Diego practicing here locally in San Diego. She's practicing in a law firm and practicing attorney here. She's also a best-selling author of Go Legal Yourself, an inventor of one of the top businesses here in our area. She is been just selected as a women entrepreneur by the LA Magazine, nominated as one of a business of the year by the San Diego Business Journal. I mean, you name it. She has quality entrepreneur skills, as well as she's just an outgoing entrepreneur. And without further ado, I want to just select to welcome her into our queue so that she can talk to us a little bit more about her career, her relation to the Veteran Chamber of Commerce, but also throughout the course of this next segment, I'm going to ask her and put her on the spotlight about her multiple nominations that she has in her career as a lawyer. So without further ado, Ms. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Laura.
Thank you. And our producer, of course, and our founder and CEO, Joseph Molina, welcome. You are here to greet us and tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the Veteran Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thank you, Laura. And it's, as always, a great pleasure to have these great leaders as our guests in the radio show. This is a national veterans radio show, and we want to make sure that we are providing content and we're bringing and showcasing veteran supporters across the nation. So we want to thank Kelly for your participation and your great support. I know you are now also participating with us on the free legal. We want to be showcasing that in the next coming months, so people will have the opportunity to ask questions to Kelly. And I did that myself, and I'll tell you that was the best experience talking to an attorney. So I totally want to say thank you, Kelly, for your willingness to answer my question. And the way you did it was totally awesome. It gave me right on the spot answers. So I'm hoping that more veterans will be willing to come to and to ask questions that, in business, we all have so many questions. But anyways, thank you very much, Kelly, for coming to the show. And I'm going to give back to Laura so she can continue with the interviews.
Thank you, Joe, for those kind words.
Thank you. Yeah, and absolutely. Meeting you, Kelly, and reading a little more about your bio and reading of all the great work that you're doing. By all means, like Joe, I totally agree. Thank you so much for all of your support and everything that you're doing for our veteran community, our military community, but also for our business world community, because your expertise is really breaking barriers and educating us a little bit further in how to do business the right way, right? How to make sure that we are going legal for ourselves, but with the strategic partners like yourself. Now, I want to just, given that we are a veteran community, I want to just jump right in and ask you, why the veteran community? What makes it dear to your heart, and why are you involved with us?
Well, Laura, from my accent, you might have noticed I wasn't born and raised in San Diego, California. I was actually born and raised in England, and I'm a migrant. I migrated from England to California probably about 23 years ago. And the one thing that really struck me was that the active military, it's all volunteer. It's all volunteer. There's no one forcing anyone to go, and it's not a draft. They're all basically volunteering to serve the country first and foremost. And I have to say, I've lived in, obviously, England. It used to be the powerhouse of the world at one point. And comparing it to America, America is truly the land of opportunities, Laura. This is where dreams come true. And I'm a living example of that. The reason why the veteran community is very near and dear to my heart is because I'm married to a vet, Brent Waters. He is the love of my life. Well, him and my dogs, but he's okay with that. And his son is currently serving as well. And I have a handful of sergeant majors. I've got lieutenant colonels as clients. And this is one way of me giving back to the veteran community, just to say thank you to them for serving us.
This is great, and we certainly appreciate and we thank you for for giving us that support and guiding us, because you do great work out in the business world, right? And not just with veterans, I imagine with a bunch of just civilians and community members. But in regards to veterans, how do you help veterans? How do you guide us, or how do you guide them into better business practices? What is one of the highlight skills that you normally see in our veteran community?
Absolutely. As Joe was mentioning earlier, I'm a very straightforward person. I don't know how to beat it around the bush, and I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody a story. I think veterans, they like straight shooters. They want answers, yes or no. They don't want gray areas, and that's exactly my expertise. This is where I come in. I lay out everything in plain English to my veteran clients. Either they can do this, yes. If they cannot, no, you can't do it, but this is how we can manage to get around that. So it's always direction, right? They're brilliant. Veterans are absolute brilliant leaders. That's one thing that I've learned. And to be a leader, you really do need to know your foundation. I'm not asking the veterans to go to law school in order for you to run a business, but nowadays that's literally a mandate, because veterans and other people get themselves in trouble because they don't know that there's a solid legal foundation that they have to build upon first before they can run a successful business. So I want to talk straightforward, legal, and let the veterans know that I'm an absolute resource for them to lay down that solid foundation so they can start building their successful business.
Thank you. And now, given on those solid foundations and those best practices that you give, how do you adapt that into some of the current business models out in the community, but also to the veterans? What are some of the best advice that you can give, tying it in with these solid foundations that you speak of, and plus great stuff that is already also in your book, and Go Legal Yourself? Can you educate me a little bit more on that? What are some of the best practices?
Absolutely, Laura. Yes. So I'm not just an attorney. I love what I do. I've been practicing again for about 17 years now. I know I don't look that old, Laura, I know, but it's been 17 years and I've loved every moment of it. I went to law school they never taught me how to run my own practice. They never taught me how to become a business owner. I had to do that all by myself. So I'm not just an attorney, I'm actually an entrepreneur as well. So I know the pains and heartaches that entrepreneurs go through when they're starting their business. And clients can't come to me all the time with the same issues, Laura. Either they've already incorporated because they've used another online business. I won't mention any names like LegalZoom, but I won't mention any names. And that always tends to get them in trouble. So based on what I've seen, I've actually, as you mentioned, I have written a book. It's called Go Legal Yourself. It is a bestseller on Amazon, and it lays down, in plain English, the 4 phases of a business legal life cycle. So you have the startup phase, and the book talks about everything that you need to do in the startup phase to make sure that you are building that solid legal foundation, because one always incorporates to protect their personal assets. That's the major reason why somebody would incorporate their business. Well, you can't just stop at just the incorporation process, but if you don't follow your corporate compliance, you can get sued personally, and the incorporation is not going to protect your personal assets. Personal assets are your home, your cars, your bank accounts, your college funds, your kids' college funds. I know you've worked so hard to accumulate those assets, and you have to be able to protect those assets. The second phase of your business legal life cycle is the growth phase. That can be an exciting phase, but that could be a lot more litigious as well. As far as we all live here, for the most part, in California, and California is one of the most litigious states ever. And anyone will sue you. Why? Because they can. Now, it's up to you as the business owner to make sure that you are protecting yourself and you've got your legal ducks in a row just in case that day might come. So the book talks about what you need to do legally in the growth phase. Then you have the established phase. That's a nice phase to be in. But that phase, you can't just sit there and ignore the legal ins and outs of your business. This is where you start protecting your brand. Your brand is everything. How else is somebody going to find you? So that's when you start, even prior to that, but you continue protecting your brand. And then you have the exit phase. And a question for you quickly, Laura, out of all those phases, which is the most important phase, would you say?
Well, to me, as an entrepreneur, definitely will be the startup, right? The startup or the growth.
The most important phase out of all of those is actually the exit phase. Don't feel bad. Everyone gets this wrong. It's okay. There's only one way you can start your business. You start. But how many ways can you actually exit your business? The whole purpose of having a business for 15, 20, 30 years is to build something that's going to support your retirement, right? Why else would you work so hard and be exposed to risks and liabilities if you're not going to be rewarded at the end? So the exit phase is really important. And when do you prepare for the exit phase? Do you know?
Right from the beginning, I
There
hope.
you go. Fantastic. You get a gold star, Laura. Absolutely. Right from the beginning. And again, Laura, my book lays everything out and it tells you exactly what you need to do in each phase. That's the biggest advice I can give any entrepreneur.
And I'm so happy you asked me that question, because you are absolutely right. So many small business owners, or so many, people with amazing ideas, we just go out into the world and say, I want to grow a business. I want to open up, I don't know, X, Y, and Z, and offer these services. But we don't go and we don't think about the legal repercussions that you can encounter as a business owner, especially in California. And you asking me, what are some of those things what would be the best process out of all of those different 4 stages? And you're right, none of us think about the exit plan, because that is the idea of going in business for yourself, is so that you don't have to work the rest of your life for somebody else. It's actually you working for yourself. So thank you for that. That just really entices me to go on and get your book and really educate myself a little bit further, and find out more about the best practices, that I can actually come back and ask you more questions. Now,
by the way, Laura, I have a signed copy for you.
There you go. I got it. I got one. That will be my big highlight for the day. Thank you. Now, given that you presented all these 4 stages yourself, you are an entrepreneur, a very highlighted businesswoman, and you have been, showcased and really picked up by a lot of really instrumental magazines, as well as partners in business out there in the community who value your services. But reflecting back to Miss Kelly, back in the early stages, what is one advice that you now know better that you would give yourself as an early stage entrepreneur?
Okay. Interesting question. Absolutely. I am a business owner of 2 businesses. The first one is my law firm called Bagla Law Firm. I would highly encourage your listeners to actually go to my website, which is baglalaw.com. It's got some great information for entrepreneurs under the blog area. Plus, there are videos there that have been where I've been actually speaking. So I'm also a speaker. I've spoken to groups of entrepreneurs. I'll be happy, Joe, to maybe do something great with you and Laura as well. Because again, I love teaching about entrepreneurship. The America again is based on entrepreneurs, right? Business owners. They are the backs of America. That's what really built America. And so the second business that I decided to open was Go Legal Yourself, and that's golegalyourself.com. It's an online business for savvy entrepreneurs. The number one thing that I would love to share with your audience and other entrepreneurs is make sure you educate yourself. Educate yourself on the basics before you jump into anything. 3 years ago, I founded Go Legal Yourself. And the reason I founded that was because, again, I saw clients make the same mistakes over and over again. They would just incorporate a business, but they wouldn't have the contracts that went with it. This is something that I bring to the table for the veteran community, Laura. It's like I'm going to equate it to going to boot camp. Okay, so you're going to boot camp because you're learning everything, but once you come out of boot camp, you're ready to go. You're going to be deployed X, Y, and Z. So going through the legal documents that are provided on the website, the startup phase is literally going through boot camp. So it's not just the incorporation process, but it's all of the contracts that you will need in order for you to do business on the other side. So that's why I founded Go Legal Yourself. And if I could do it all over again 3 years ago, Laura, I would make sure that I would partner with a marketing firm. Now, protecting your brand is number one because you've worked so hard to create it. How else is somebody going to find you? I know for a fact that there are people out there that are looking for my services, but if I'm not marketing them and I'm not talking and I'm not presenting, then they're not going to find me. So, but you have to make sure, because marketing is it's a vast animal in itself. So you really have to educate yourself as to what type of marketing, who's going to really help you, and who actually has the experience to help you.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. And I think that is maybe sometimes entrepreneurs we're really just, just go on and do things really fast, but there has to be a little bit of culture of slow down and self-pace yourself, and let's do it the right way if we want to be successful into making sure that our business stays active longer. Plus, we establish good relationships, and that's why the Veteran Chamber is Commerce is here for. So that because we go and we identify these strategic partners like yourself, who can educate us, tell us a little bit best practices and the best way to go out and do business in a more affordable yet strategic way. So thank you very much for all of those insights. And I want to take this opportunity real quick to also acknowledge our sponsor. Today, our sponsor is Dronatech. Thank you so much for all of your support. And then if you out there in the community would like to, get connected, please connect through our Veteran Chamber of Commerce. We'd love to highlight you as well and bring you back here into our Veteran Radio Show. And if you are also just joining us, we are talking to Kelly Bagla, who is our Veteran Chamber of Commerce strategic partner. She is our author of Go Legal Yourself. She's educating us all today about the best legal practices that required as a small business owner, how you can incorporate, and do all the different strategic decisions that you need to do for your small business. So thank you very much for being here, Kelly. And I'm just feeling absolutely enlightened with all the knowledge that you have you have brought us behind the scenes, but also moving forward that you will be sharing with a veteran community. Now, I wanted to ask you, reflect back about your career in general, because you have an amazing bio of everything that you have been doing since you came here. You did yourself acknowledge that you have been, you are grew up in England, you're a lawyer out there, right? And so given that you were not able to practice law here right away, you were able to find ways to overcome those roadblocks. And so you yourself created this amazing venture to be able to practice law, supporting small businesses. But I also wanted to highlight that you have been nominated as the Business Woman of the Year by the San Diego Business Journal. What does it feel like for you to be in all these spotlights, as a women entrepreneur, and also as a military spouse, and as a lawyer? If you can just give me a little bit of just joy, the kind words of what does that feel like to you?
Well, Laura, I love what I do, right? And if you actually love what you do and you create a business, you'll never work a day in your life again. It's not work. So I absolutely love what I do. And I love helping entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, again, are the backbone of America, but they get themselves in trouble because they just want to go, 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 just like you said, right? I was one of those too. I just wanted to go, go, go. I didn't sort of step back and really assess the situation, which we all need to do. And to be nominated and to sort of hold these prestigious nominations, if you will. I was just recently nominated as the top 20 businesswoman to watch in 2020 by Insight Success magazine. And that was such a privilege and a pleasure. And again, I think it's because I'm bringing something that's innovative to everyone that wants to start their own business. There hasn't really been a place where you can just shop in one place and it's literally given to you, other than you have to go to this website to get that. You've got to go to this website to get that. Maybe you don't know what you don't know. Again, that's what really gets entrepreneurs in trouble. You don't know what you don't know. Again, it's such an honor. I love what I do. I love educating, and I'll continue to be able to do that for as long as I'm able to.
And we're going to be there right side by side with you, because now that you're a fabulous strategic partner to our community, we don't want to let you go. So you're stuck with us now. You're stuck with us. We're stuck with you, better yet, right? Depending on how you want to see it. We're a beautiful match, that's for sure. Now, I'm really happy to also just talk a little bit about, you have an app. You're an inventor. You have an app, Go Legal Yourself. If you could just very briefly tell me, what does this app do as a business owner or someone who's trying to get to know a little bit more about you, what you do and the services?
Thank you for bringing that up, Laura. I tend to forget, and I really shouldn't, because I guess I'm doing so much. And again, I love what I do. I am a host of a podcast. It's also called Go Legal Yourself. And anyone can download the app from the app stores. It's completely free. But this way, you can actually interact with me, and we bring to you, I interview business people that have gone through the struggles, that have shared their stories. What would they do differently? Again, as an entrepreneur, knowledge is power. So arm yourselves with knowledge. This is a fantastic tool for you to even listen through. Some of the segments are short. Some of them are where I am just giving some legal advice, right, to just general information on a specific topic. And then some of the segments are maybe 30 minutes long, where I'm interviewing, again, business owners, and it's all about supporting entrepreneurs. How can an entrepreneur become successful? That's always the end goal for any entrepreneur. And so this Go Legal Yourself app, for my podcast, it's a fantastic tool.
And what I love about your business, your service, your support, your collaboration, however you want to look at it, is that you are actually someone that is reachable, right? Yes. And this overall, discussion, you are reachable. It, like you mentioned, now that we want to mention somebody else out there on the internet, that you go and do it yourself, sort of practice. But you are actually someone that we can actually reach out, call, email, text, or join the podcast app and be able to ask you those questions. And I think that's very unique for our community, because we thrive that. Our veteran community, military community, we're used to that. We're used to that customized, personalized customer service approach and having those discussions about how to make things better. So thank you so much for launching this fabulous product and service. And again, collaboration, however you want to look at it, it's an overall amazing support. Now, I did want to acknowledge right now, we have Dean Duffinanis, and I apologize for not being able to say your last name correctly, but Dean, thank you so much. He's visiting from Carlsbad. Thank you. He's watching us right there. And we also have Allie. Hi, Allie. I love it when you come to visit us. She is actually from Marietta. And I'm going to see real quick here. Dean has a question. It says, how much would it cost to have my business structure review to see where the blind spots may be? And I think we talked about that a little bit as we were getting ready for this. Is some of us tend to come in, we're so ready, we're so excited for the whole just get ready, get started, but then we have to undo things. So if you can answer that for Dean and then tell us how can we undo some of the wrongdoings that we don't do right from the beginning.
Absolutely. Great question, Dean. Because you are listening to this particular radio show right now, and you are part of the veteran community, I'll be happy, complimentary, to take a look at your corporate documents. And if you're not headed in the right direction, we can put you in the right direction. So please reach out to me. I believe they will be providing my information to you. You can email me, you can call me. I'll be happy to set up a time to meet with you, and we'll review your corporate documents complimentary.
Thank you. Yeah, Dean. So we're definitely going to get you some support. But then getting back to this topic, Ms. Kelly, because I think, that is one of the things that I didn't think about when I was pursuing my entrepreneurship thing. I just wanted to get started out for service and help people. But sometimes that's not the right way. So if I was someone out in our community who already got started, how can I retract myself and undo some of the things that maybe I didn't incorporate it correctly, I didn't do things? What is the best tip you can give us on that?
So the 3 takeaways I'd like the audience to know is, the first one is, if you're already incorporated and you incorporated as an LLC. So in America, the 2 common entities that somebody would incorporate themselves as is, one is an LLC, which is a limited liability company. The other one is a corporation. Now, limited liability companies, Laura, were created just to hold real property. They were not created to actually do business, but they've kind of become a hybrid. And when someone incorporates as an LLC, they limit themselves because now they're not able to sort of grow their business. Because when you're growing, you want to make sure that you actually start to attract people that are going to stay with you and grow with your business. So you want to give them incentives, right? You might want to bring on a person that you're going to give stock to. You can't really do that through an LLC. Plus, you are giving away a lot of money in taxes as opposed to actually saving money if you were a corporation. So if you are an LLC, I'll be happy to review your business, take a look at what you're doing, and we can always convert you over to a corporation. That's number 1 takeaway. Number 2 is, you have to have the right contracts with the right people. These contracts have to have certain language in there that's going to limit your liability. Your contract is only as good as the person that you actually go into business with. So for example, if you provided services to a client and the client wasn't happy with you, and now they're going to sue you, and you didn't do your corporate compliance, and now they're going to take your home and your bank accounts, that would be a very, very, very bad position to be in. Now, you need to have certain contracts that are going to limit that liability exposure for you. So if you have contracts, I'll be happy to take a look at those. And then the third one is that if you are using independent contractors, for example, if you are using someone to create your website, as an example, well, are you going to actually own that website? Is somebody else going to own the rights to it? Do you even own the assets of your company? For example, what about the name of your company? The name of Go Legal Yourself is actually a registered trademark. Now that brings goodwill as and when I decide to sell that business, obviously for millions, right? Because that's what we do here. But those are the 3 takeaways: the right entity, the right contracts, and protect your business assets.
Thank you. And I am so glad that I can undo any potential mistakes that I maybe didn't take or any steps. And so thank you so much for that. And Joe is here now to join us and to provide us with additional advice, as well as to be able to wrap us up for this particular segment. But before we go, Joe, let's make sure that we get Miss Kelly's info on the into our overlays and everything else, so that Dean can get a hold of you, as well as make sure that he's going to take you up on that offer, by the way, Ms. Kelly, and so that everybody else in the audience can get a hold of you and be able to connect you. Joe?
Yes, and thank you very much, Kelly, for making that offer to Dean. Greatly appreciated, and such a big savings. Because I know how much it costs to do that.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
The other part that I was going to say
Joe.
is, like, how you and I met was we are co-authors. Well, we write articles for the San Diego Common magazine with Mike. And so I read your articles all the time, very informational, and I love the straightforward approach. I love that. I love how it is done. So I'm really hoping that by doing this, we can do this again later, but also you and I will be talking further and about how to expand the opportunities for entrepreneurs in San Diego as well as nationwide. As the Chamber it has a nationwide approach, we would love to kind of bring you on board and see where else we can find veterans who may be of benefit to your wealth of knowledge. So you and I will be in touch. And thank you again for coming on board to the show. And we'll be in touch.
My pleasure. Thank you both.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. And before we wrap up, Ms. Kelly, real quick, is there anything we can do as a Veteran Chamber of Commerce or as a community to help you, or any last minute announcements that you have coming up that we can support you as well?
Laura, it's really what I can do for the veteran community. I've seen the same mistakes made over and over again. So please, if someone is in the veteran community thinking about starting their business, please reach out to me first. It'll be the best day of your life. I can guarantee it. I can actually save you a lot of money as well. Do not do it yourself, because that's why we're here to help the veteran community.
Thank you so much. And thank you out there, Veteran Chamber of Commerce audience, and everyone who's watching or who will rewatch this afterwards, the replay. Make sure that you connect with Kelly, connect with the Veteran Chamber of Commerce. And I just want to take real quick now to wrap it up. We're a little bit over a minute, but it's a really good conversation, really good content. And I'm really thankful that you came, and you are one of our partners and someone who will be able, to reach out within just a quick email and have that support, so that our businesses can really take off the right way and the legal way. And we're so glad that you came for us today. So thank you so much for watching. We're going to wrap it up. If you have any additional questions, please post it on the comments, and we'll make sure that you get connected with Kelly right after the show. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great Friday.